Alright, all the games from the previous day. I was like, we're talking about Celtics and the Thunder. I was like, look, both games. I was like, really, the team got blitzes just in different ways. Like, I was like, let's start with Miami and the Celtics. First of all, Miami came out of here shooting like gangbusters. They had an auto on the clip. They was ready to go, and it seemed like they couldn't miss any shot they were throwing up at the top. And while Brown and Tatum dominated, they did a good job of basically making sure nobody else did at all. And the thing is, like Tatum and Brown, we know can always score. That's never been the problem. It's always just been, and it's like, and they both came to play, but the way this game was, the way they were playing zone and they were switching, they would make sure to like really keep Kristoff's like unbalanced pretty much the whole time. But I thought Tyler Hero played a really great game because like while yes he scored, I was like his career high in assists. I think like showed and then when you watch it, the amount of how it was paced and understanding to where it wasn't just that they was hitting shots and that's where he was getting his assists, but it's like you could tell how it was with like the pick and roll and stuff like that. I thought they didn't have any hesitation on just like getting the ball and shooting. Like they made them like they either made a pass or the move real quick and then shot the shot. Um, Bam pretty much staying around in the paint because he's really the only guy that could rebound and do all the stuff. Um, but then you had I was like Caleb Martin's always good for like a game or two of these where he just like it's like oh man he just can't miss and then he'll disappear a little bit. But Hawkins has been pretty much around like his same. I was like he was hitting shots even though like the three is not his strong point. I was like, but I think having Hero, which especially with no Jimmy Butler, but sort of like last year, even though they won all those games, he's the only one that can really get his own shot. Like like Duncan is really somebody that I was like he played good of just uh coming off of screens and stuff like that. I was like, he was getting eaten up by Tatum, but that was sort of like you can sort of tell like the game plan. Like, yes, they played zone quite a bit, but it's also like, all right, cool. Tatum's just going to get his buckets, but nobody else is going to get their bucket. Brown is going to do their bucket, and I was like, I think they end up making them, especially once they were getting down, is that they just kept staying with the ISO game. And if you get those two ISO in, it's like yes, they're going to have great numbers, but they're also not going to go like berserk in a way too. That's able to overcome the fact that your whole team on the other side is playing extremely well. Um, but you got like I said, Caleb Martin already. I was like Jovic, Highsmith hit a couple buckets as well too. So and like you got dudes that will play defense with really like the whole concept of the team thing in a way. And I was like, and the Celtics just sort of just did what we all fear that the Celtics do, where they always just have one of these games, one of these like letdowns, where they sort of play below their competition, they get stuck in their way, and also too like if their shot's not falling, there's really no other way that they have planned, and that's sort of like always their sort of problem. And the Miami Heat, which we all sort of figured would be a difficult matchup, I didn't necessarily think they would actually get a game. I thought this would be like a sweep, but I thought it'd be one of those where it's like, oh, they're gonna play close, but it'd be a sweep. But I was like, I didn't actually think that they get a game out of it. But I think we seen like that Tyler Hero do some. I was like, even though some of his faults, because he's a volume shooter, is also what the team needs, considering that the rest of them can't really create their own shot in that same type of way. Like Bam could get his own shot, but he's not a shot creator. If you get what I'm saying. Um, so it does suck that Butler isn't here, just because that extra added piece you might actually sort of give them a chance to beat Boston. Um, but also I do think that while Butler's not there, see the different thing is that with Butler being there, you could say some of this team play wouldn't happen, but Butler gets reserved. I was like he'll hold off in a way that this would have still happened, and then he kicks in at a certain time. So it's not like the same way like like where it's like LeBron has to have the imprint on the game and be involved, where Butler doesn't have to do that in the same way. I was like, I just set a comparison, not really as a slight. The Thunder and the Pelicans. This one to me was just really just like the Heat blitzed them with like threes in a way where it was just like it was such a barrage that they just couldn't do anything about it. The Thunder just blitzed them with everybody, and to me is it was really a checkmate of big men because you had Jonas Valanciunas who was killing them on the board and was killing them in the paint very early, and then I think after that it was like I don't even think it was a coach thing. This one seemed like a real player thing where it was Chet just being like, "All right, cool, you gonna body me in the paint, but guess what? You can't do. You can't do this out here." And he just started raining threes early on. But Valanciunas can't get out there to guard him. And then once you sort of take Valanciunas away, it's like while Larry Nance he's a good backup big man because he can switch and stuff, he's not the same type. Like that's where Chet can take advantage of that type of being a big man because it's like now in the paint it's like I'm long. I was like being at 7 foot. I was like I got a lot more dribble moves and stuff like that than any of y'all, so I can easily get here. And plus he's a better passer in that type of way too. Where it's like, but they got so much perimeter offense, and and I was like that. You think about it, your weakest offensive person is Lou Dort, but that doesn't mean he can't score. I was like he can hit shots, and I was like he's really improved at that stage of his game. And but you look on the other end, it's like I was like without Zion, you need Brandon Ingram to step up, and he just hasn't. I know he had to bend. He only came back for like so long, but you could just tell like he's not in a rhythm. I was like, like the way he played, it just seemed like especially like the way to end the game, the first game, and how he sort of played like in the beginning of this game. You could tell it was just like it was bully ball, but not in the way that he plays it. It looked like it was just like out of like frustration and just being mad that it's like he can't get to his spots. Like I was like, you could sort of see that he's not because of the injury, he's not in the shape that he normally would be at. I was like, his jump shot isn't going. I was like, I know Lou Dort is all up on him and all up in him to where it's like but I was like, I mean, one, he got like 4 or 5 more inches on him. I was like, he could shoot over him, but he's just like, Dort is staying on him in a way that I think he's getting frustrated. And because I was like, he's like a lot of stuff he's doing where he's forcing it, where he's getting charges and he just doing like offensive fouls and just dumb foul. And you could just tell like he's trying to force his shot way too much. I was like, and the problem is that while they have a good amount of depth guys, Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. It's like they're not like how Oklahoma City is. They're not like I think Murphy is a good person to really get like he sort of get his own shot and create a little bit off the dribble. But when you look at Oklahoma City, it's like Giddy could do that. Isaiah Joe could do that. I was like, we know Gildas Alexander could do it. I was like, Chet can do it. Jalen Williams can do it. I think they just have too much firepower for what you're getting. And I was like, McCollum is just sort of. I was like, he's a good player, but if you ain't got the other two dudes there, I was like, he got to really get hot and got to really get going. And he hadn't been fully there like that. And I was like, I thought this was going to be a little bit more competitive, but I just think now that I'm like, if Zion's not going to come back, I think they might be in a spot where they get swept or a gentleman's sweep at least. They might be because game one was so close that it's like you can see that in them to get one. But I think Oklahoma City after this game has sort of figured out like, okay, if you ain't gonna get nothing really from Ingram, you're not gonna be able to do this because we got our MVP candidate, we got Chet and Jalen Williams who can both go off for like over 20 with ease. Like we got all our people firing on all cylinders. Y'all don't at all, and y'all's depth is not the same as our depth. Ours is way more developed and way more, while also being able to play the roles that they have. So I don't think the Pelicans can without Zion, and with this Ingram that they got. like it'd be difficult even if they had Ingram in his form and like his all-star form. I think it would still be difficult, but I was like they'd have a punter shot because they at least got somebody one-on-one with like Shea to where it's like okay, cool. I was like, then CJ can negate this over here. So you just have to have a collection of people over here to battle this or whatever like that. Yeah, I think they're pretty much wrapped up and done. But yeah, no, that's just the end up on those games. One I thought was a sweep. I was like, depending on how the Celtics respond, and we know they're good with sometimes with responding, and then they're letting it go. That can end up going from anywhere between 5 games now to like 7, and we don't know. To the Thunder that look like it might be like, oh, this might be like a 6 game to me, and be being like, yo, they might get swept out of here. But anyway, as we watch more of these playoff games. Peace.